Have you
Damn
guys
it, there's
followed
only
his
two
trial at all? It's going on right now.
Trial, huh? I don't.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be a he said she said, regardless of what that Reddit article said. The Reddit article said it's not he said she said.
I didn't
Yes,
see
it
the Reddit
is.
article you're talking about.
I'm just saying, like I think it's going to be a he said she said thing, and there's going to be nothing again.
So
like
she's
always.
got this.
It's all about the he said.
She
said.
has two other people who say that he got them too. She wrote about it, I guess, way back when it happened, and she has a dress supposedly with his semen on it that he anytime he could commit, like, do a DNA test and get himself out of this, prove that it wasn't him, but he's not doing that.
Yeah,
So
Mr. President, go down there, come in a cup, do it for us, or else.
I don't know if
Do
you
it
need to
for
do
us.
cum. Can you not get it from like saliva?
Sure, you could, but that's how I'd spin it in my media room.
So
They're trying to get the president down there to jerk off. These Democrats.
I won't do it. I'm not going to.
dude's in his upper 70s. He can't.
He probably
Yeah, we'll
can.
see
They
where
can
this
juice him
goes. In any case, regardless, it's not a good look to be having a rape trial. We'll see if it hurts him.
Come on, you know it's not gonna hurt him.
You don't think?
Who's
This
the
stuff
voter out there? Who's the voter out there?
Dude, it does hurt him. It's always like this.
Not Donald.
What's
Like,
he doing though? What
dude,
is
there
he doing? What
are
does it hurt him?
sycophants who will vote for Donald if he shoots someone on Fifth Avenue. That much is true. He's not going to
True.
lose 25, 30% of the country. But when he needs to actually win an election, defending yourself against rape allegations is bad.
I mean, bro, like, don't you remember when he won the first time? It was like the thing came out about like grab her by the pussy and all that.
Days before the election. Yeah, that was bad. But they immediately changed the story to we're investigating Hillary Clinton for her emails. That's what happened. Comey came out, said, you know what? We are indeed investigating Hillary for her emails. Took all the wind out of the sails out of the Access Hollywood bus tape.
Yeah, he's a good politician.
And that's not true. He's a bad politician.
You just gave a great example of it.
Kyle's right.
He
He's
didn't
among
do it.
the best.
He didn't influence Comey to release that information somehow.
True. He
certainly
did
did.
not influence Comey. He wasn't president. He was the citizen at the time.
Why did he do
What
it then?
happened
Why
was
would Comey
had
railroad?
He explained it. What happened was they had talked about Hillary being under investigation, and she wasn't. And Comey felt obligated to be like, she's not under investigation. And then she was. And he's like, I didn't see a good answer. I didn't see it all. Like, what am I supposed to do? Let the original thing stand when it wasn't true, or say now she's under investigation? And he felt like he didn't have a good choice.
Makes sense. Goodness. Well, I don't think he's going to lose a single vote because of some silly rape trial. I saw Jon Stewart covering sort of the entire media. He skips to 8 different people throughout the fucking media, and the reaction to his Stormy Daniels trial, and they've all given up already. They've already given up. They're like, it's really just a big nothing, just a really big nothing, and like everyone's saying that this is what's going to happen every single time because no one has enough attention for legal matters. No one fucking cares enough because it's about accounts and money moving around. No one cares. No one cares. He's Donald Trump. That's what they care about. There's no voter out there who is. He might, but he won't lose a single vote because of this rape thing.
That's not true. He's going to lose tons of votes, just not MAGA sycophant votes. MAGA sycophant votes will vote for him through anything. He thinks God, Emperor Trump is going to win and that nothing he does is wrong. But there are reasonable people out there who are like, fuck, how many trials and rape accusations? He's got 24 rape accusations at this point. This is bad.
I disagree. I don't think that anyone has held on through the first 15 or 20 rape accusations, and now this is the one. You know what I mean? Like this is not, you're making this out to be the final straw, but it's no more of a big deal than any of the things that came before. It seems like another.
I don't actually think it's the final straw. I think it adds up. I think that, whether
that's what the final straw means, though.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be the final one, right? After this comes the Georgia election tampering thing, and after that comes something else.
Okay.
So people who are trying to pick a president, not people who've already picked their president, but people who are deciding, look at this stuff and it hurts him.
I disagree. I don't think anyone cares about all that stuff.
Well,
I think they care more about the.
Woody, I think you're thinking that Americans are smarter than they actually are. I think the majority of Americans do not think like that.
I think they're mad about the economy and
It
the
would be
war.
great if they
I
did.
think they care about gasoline and inflation. I think they might want
Gasoline's
that
down, inflation's down, unemployment's down. What's the economy?
I mean, the economy is not good. The consumer price index is horrible. The unemployment is down because the entire economy was destroyed for 2 years, and we're just now kind of catching back up. Like, of course, like tons of people lost their jobs. Oh yeah, for 2 years,
They
like
did.
lockdowns, tons of people lost their jobs. Huge dip in labor participation, and now we're seeing a natural incline with the like everything being open for the last year and a half. Like average cost of commodities, as far as how much people are making, has risen dramatically. Energy is more expensive, food's more expensive, cost of living has gone up.
we're on the
housing's
verge
more
of World
expensive.
War III.
The economy is the number one issue. Like at times like this, the average person is worried about like their financial future. Like they aren't even like plugged into like some little drama thing at times.
Also, if we're going to like dig up drama, Trump was right about COVID the whole time, and the left was lying to us. Like that's what we found out, that they were constantly lying. I'm talking about Comey, not Comey, Fauci.
What lie?
Well, he went back and forth about the mask thing, whether they were we needed the masks or we didn't. At one point, he was lying so that people wouldn't scoop them up because he wanted certain people to have them.
That's true.
There was, it was completely mishandled, and the way they lied about they made this whole thing about China an issue where Trump was this big stupid racist. And anybody who thought that China had anything bad to do with it, sweet China. You think sweet China would cook up a virus in a lab? No,
That's what Trump was saying. Trump was saying that the leader was doing an outstanding job, that they had it under full control. He mishandled it.
It's called the China virus, the Chinese virus. You know, he was going off about
He's
that
on
stuff
record
early on, and they were
praising them
mocking it
dozens of times.
Praise
For
the
the
Lord.
handling of
I'm
COVID.
sure there was a situation where he was in front of cameras and they asked him a pointed
Dozens of
question
times.
where, yes, and you wanted him to attack the leader of China publicly about
Well, you
this.
just gave him credit for attacking the leader of China publicly.
No, I didn't.
He's trying to have it both ways.
I don't think that's what Kyle's saying.
No, not at all.
No.
I was saying that Trump was out there out front saying, this is a Chinese virus. This came from there. That's why I call it that. And it may have come from a lab or from one of these crazy wet markets. He wasn't pointing out Xi Jinping or whatever that guy's fucking name is. There was no reason to do that. And if an international news reporter asks you something about your opinion about the leader of China, you better not say anything stupid, because you're going to be in a room with that man. And it's our biggest trading partner, right, in the world.
Yeah.
It's a strategic opponent. We've got an issue with Taiwan. We want to know the South China Sea stuff, where they're stealing those islands. Maybe don't aggravate
Wait,
all
was he
that.
hard on China or easy on China? I'm trying to figure out what your
Well,
point is.
he at the time like COVID started, he was the one who was like banging the drum, being like, "It's a Chinese virus. It's from China. Immediately, we need to close our borders. Nobody allowed in." And he was roundly mocked as a racist xenophobe. Like, "Oh, you're crazy. Wow, you're afraid of this?" Like, oh, like, and
He
that
also
was the
said
actual
China's
response.
been working hard to contain the coronavirus. The United States greatly appreciates their efforts and China's transparency. It will all work out well. In particular, on behalf of America, I want to thank President Xi.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's like
it's a good statement.
PR. That's like a way that you're trying to
He
mitigate.
can do no
something
wrong
that-
in the sycophant's eyes. He can
this
say
is not a
it's the
sycophant
Kung
thing, dude.
flu,
This is like
and then he can say they did a great job. And
You're
in
not
both
seeing the
cases,
nuance
he's
here.
just wonderful.
you're
I'm
not
not seeing
like
the nuance.
the nuance of you have to maintain proper relations with a geopolitical semi-ally, semi-opponent, largest trade partner. You can't go put their president on blast. It's a very bad look. At the same time,
Was it a bad
he's-
look when he called it the Kung flu? Was it a bad look when he called it the China virus? Like he's doing both, and in
No.
both cases, he's right.
in a way, yes, he is critiquing China as an entity.
It's as if he
for
could
it.
do no wrong, right? Like
Should he pick up? Hey, there's a difference between
Just
talking about
not getting it.
China abstractly and zeroing in on the president and leader of that country. There's a huge difference. One is taken personally, the other is not. One can't be ignored, the other can.
He was doing name calling, right? And he was gaslighting America with regards to how severe this coronavirus was going to be. And it seems like when he says it's no big deal, you praise him for his leadership. When he says it's a big deal, you praise him for his leadership. That there's nothing he's done in regard to handling COVID that you guys have any problem with. And he actually handled it pretty poorly.
I don't think we're talking at all about the entire handling of COVID. We're talking about how he communicated on the PR side to Americans and also framing to Xi Jinping or whatever the fuck you say it. Like, there is a difference between saying this is Xi Jinping, he's a bad guy, he's an evil guy, like, and saying, it's coming from China. They're doing whatever they can to stop it over there. We praise them for trying to stop it, but it's coming from China. It's a Chinese virus, folks. Like that is what was said. And that's how it was like, that is the framing of it. Very different.
He would go back and forth between blaming China and praising China. And that's an inconsistent message. That kind of flip-flopping would burn most politicians. But with Trump, it's all baked into the cake.
I loved that he always maintained that respect and a little bit of compliment for whenever any world leader was brought up. What do you think about Vladimir Putin? He's a smart guy. Well, you can't disagree with him. He is a smart guy, right? Mm-hmm. What are you going to say? I think he's a murderer. How's our next negotiation going to go with Vladimir Putin? Well, like, imagine, put yourself in Vladimir Putin's shoes, right? Mm-hmm. If you hear that, you're like, I bet Donald thinks poorly of me. But they asked him that question to pit us against one another. You know how this is with YouTube, right? Someone will be like, hey, what do you think about wings? Well, let me measure my answer before I give this. You know what I mean?
He was always kind to Putin, to China, to Kim Jong-un, but he wasn't so kind to like the leader of Germany, Merkel. He wasn't so kind to the leader of France. He wasn't so kind to the leader of Japan. He wasn't so kind to the leader of Canada.
Scared of them.
Because he doesn't. Yeah. We have to be scared of these other people. It seemed like he was.
Yeah, of course. Yeah,
he treated his friends poorly and his enemies well, and I always thought it was weak.
He kicked his friends in the ass. Remember, his problem with Merkel is they weren't paying their percentage of the money to the UN, and he was wanting them to get energy independent from Russia, and they were laughing at him.
Yeah.
Remember, he had legitimate beef with our allies. Canada said recently that they'll never meet their percentage of the defense budget for the UN, whatever that is, the EU. He
had a good point.
UN.
He had a good point. I think it was NATO, but I'm not positive. I think it was.
It could probably is
paying to NATO, but So what it was, they were supposed to pay a certain percentage of the GDP, and they never did. But America did, so it kind of seemed like we were paying for all the military, and nobody else was. And he had a good point. I just didn't like that in general. He was harsh to his friends and kind to his enemies. Thought it was weak.
I think you only make peace with enemies. I like that little idea. Yeah. And I remember that Kim Jong-un didn't know that Donald had said that stuff about him when they met. And they said, yeah, he called you the little Rocket Man. And he goes, haha, Rocket Man's okay, but not little. like that guy didn't know anything about Twitter. See, Trump is scoring all those points on Twitter, like trashing them, and then he can get on the phone with the guy, and I think they can be cool and maybe they didn't get anything done. It didn't seem, but at least he tried. I appreciated the effort. I just think if you're going to have to negotiate with someone like Vladimir Putin, it's in no one's best interest for the president to be the one out there calling him awful things. He should be calling him a smart guy, a worthy adversary, perhaps, something like that. But he shouldn't be calling him, the butcher of whatever the fuck, or the murderer of who was it, and the KGB agent of 20 years. You let someone at a lower level who puts that stuff out for the White House, a senior administrator told us today that sort of thing. The president needs to be able to go in a room with these people eventually and speak for all of us for things that matter.
It never came off as that sophisticated to me. It came off as he just liked Putin. He liked that Putin was an autocrat, and he seemed to like all the autocrats.
I mean, we do too, right? Like Putin's aside from the evil that Putin does, there's a lot to. It's like, man, he might be the richest guy in the world.
I wonder.
That guy's got this war going. Everyone's shitting on him right now, and he's like a heel in the WWE, laughing. He doesn't care. He's waging a war over there. There's hundreds of thousands of people dead. Nobody's going to do anything.
That's true. And it doesn't, based on not looking into it, no signs of ending, right?
Nope.